I think I need a handful of questions. Before I start my question, allow me to congratulate and welcome the new member for West, Grand Bahama, and Bimini to these members. I was not here earlier to congratulate you. I only have one word of advice to you. It's a challenging job. While campaigning, you were answering your phone. Don't change your number. Continue to answer your phone. Always remember, if you don't answer your phone, when the time comes, they won't answer theirs. That's the only advice I'd give you. Madam Speaker, the first question. In only 2 years, the Right Honorable Prime Minister has rightly earned a reputation of being the most traveled Prime Minister in the history of the Bahamas. According to media reports, in his 2 years in office, he has traveled to Angola, Argentina, Barbados, Bermuda, Canada, Chicago, Cuba, Dubai, Egypt, Jamaica, Los Angeles, London, Miami, New York, Jamaica, Rome, Rwanda, Scotland, Trinidad, Turks and Caicos, Washington, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. In this regard, would the Right Honorable Prime Minister please inform the Bahamian people, 1, is there any country or city on that list that he did not travel to since he became Prime Minister? 2, is there any country or city that he traveled to since he became PM that is not on that list, or he would like for me to give him credit for? 3, are there any 2 ministers in his cabinet whose combined travel during the past 2 years, when added together, either equal or exceed his travel during his tenure as Prime Minister? 4, how many people accompanied him on each of the trips? And 5, what was the cost to the people, the people who accompanied him on each trip, inclusive of airfare, ground transportation, meals, per diem, and accommodation? Then, next question, Madam Speaker. The Free National Movement provided the incentive and opportunity for young Bahamians to secure a free education at the University of the Bahamas. Accordingly, I am obliged to ask the Right Honorable Prime Minister to apologize to our diligent and dedicated young students for a short-sighted imposition of value-added tax on the University of the Bahamas without increasing the university's budget by 1 cent, thereby negatively impacting the opportunity for thousands of Bahamians to obtain tertiary degree education. Next question, Madam Speaker. Having regard to the enormous financial pressures that the imposition of value-added tax on the University of the Bahamas will create for our young people and vulnerable university students, I have a duty to ask the Right Honorable Prime Minister during this academic year to please repeal this imposition of value-added tax on the University of the Bahamas, which will mark him in history as the first Prime Minister in the Bahamas to tax the educational opportunity of our young people. Next question, Madam Speaker. The imposition of value-added tax on the University of the Bahamas by this Prime Minister will negatively impact educational opportunities for our vulnerable children, especially Family Island children who have come to Nassau to attend UB, and that includes young people from Cat Island. I ask every member of this Honorable House of Assembly whether they will stand up for their young and aspiring constituents by asking the Prime Minister to withdraw this poorly thought out imposition of value-added tax on the University of the Bahamas. Madam Speaker, I am obliged to ask the Honorable Prime Minister how he could, in good conscience, bring himself to increase constituency grant for members of parliament by 50%, and at the same time impose a crippling value-added tax on the University of the Bahamas, thereby negatively impacting the educational aspirations of our young people. And Madam Speaker, next question. Would the Right Honourable Prime Minister honestly admit to the Bahamian people that textbooks, computers, desks, chairs, and other physical educational tools constitute personal property of the University of Bahamas, and hence his new imposition of value-added tax on the personal property of the university, notwithstanding any law, now makes textbooks, chairs, books acquired by the university's library, computer, and other educational tools subject to payment of value-added tax by the University of Bahamas. And the last question, Madam Speaker. Would the Right Honourable Prime Minister please apologize to the Bahamian people for misleading them with his false claim that there were no new or increased taxes in his budget, when he knew that he had imposed value-added tax on the University of Bahamas, thereby earning the ignominious infamy of being the only Prime Minister in the history of Bahamas to ever tax education. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member.